Afternoon, sixth grade. Today we're going to be writing our own Continue the Story. A little bit shorter than the one we did in class, but we just want to practice, so we're good for the benchmark. All right, here's some directions. We're reading a short story about two people in a forest, and we're writing our own original short story to continue the action. First, read the story. Here's the story. It's called A Forest Discovery. It's also on your writing sheet. Take a few minutes to read it. Once you've finished reading the story, you may skip this slide and move on. All right. Now, in the space marked annotate on your paper, write down what the setting of the story is and who the characters are. So you need one sentence describing the setting and one sentence describing each of the characters. That's John and Maurice. Once you have 3 sentences down, you may move on. Go. All right. Here are a few questions for you about the story you just read. Great job. So, now we're going to write our first paragraph. As we talked about in class, and as you did for homework, the first paragraph establishes the setting and the characters of your story. So the setting is going to be inside the hut, and your characters are going to be John and Maurice. So, in this first paragraph, you're answering, what is the cabin like? And how does John feel? This paragraph needs to include 2 sentences describing the setting. Remember to use sensory details, like we talked about. And one setting showing how the character feels, how John feels. Once you have these 3 sentences down on the lines below the prompt, you may move on. All right, time for our second paragraph, where we're going to introduce some dialogue. So, the question we're answering is, what do John and Maurice say to each other? So, each of the characters needs to speak at least once. At least one line of dialogue for each John and Maurice. And this dialogue needs to have proper punctuation, so use those commas and quotation marks, and formatting, so you better put each quote on its own line. All right, write 2 pieces of dialogue, 1 for each character. Go. Now, we'll move on to our third paragraph. This is where we describe the conflict, because we got to think of a problem that John and Maurice are going to face. Be creative. Think about what might be waiting for them inside that hut. What kind of problems are they going to face? In this paragraph, you're introducing and developing what their problem is. You're writing 3 sentences about how they discover their problem, what they do about it. Don't solve it yet. Just describe what their problem is. Talk about what they do. 3 sentences. Go. All right. Now for our 4th and final paragraph. This is the resolution of the story. This is where the problem is solved. So we're answering, how do John and Maurice fix their problem? This paragraph must include 3 sentences, just like the last one, talking about what John and Maurice actually do to solve their problem. Then solve the problem, give us the ending of the story. Make sure everything is tied up. It's a satisfying ending. You're writing 3 sentences, resolving the conflict. Go. Great job, 6th grade. Have a great math intervention.